This computer. Recording is in progress. Mid start. What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy G here with Walls.
What's up? What's up?
We're hanging out today at the Craft Tasting Room and Growler Shop in South End in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is week 6 of the Carolina Panthers football season just wrapped up.
Is it week 18 yet? Week 17 yet?
I think 18 weeks, right? 17 games.
Right.
So yeah, man. So well, first let's tell everybody about this place where we're at right now. So it's located on Church Street, right?
Right. Church Street, South End. Let's see, right near Panther Stadium.
Real close to Panther Stadium.
Yeah, not far from the intersection of Mint and Moorhead. Yeah, nice little area. It gets sort of bustling in the evening and on the weekends. The younger crowd comes out. It's game days.
You saying we're not the younger crowd anymore?
I wouldn't say that. I might have been including us in that statement.
Mid-40s. We're the middle crowd.
I wasn't going to give an age. I wasn't going to say how old anybody was.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay.
No, it's all good. All good. But no, game days are a lot of fun in this area and in Craft specifically. Charlotte FC, Panthers games. And since Tepper brought the concerts
Tepper brought music.
Right. And so since Tepper brought music, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I've been out here maybe when Garth Brooks was here, and Elton John. You know, people are just out and about a lot more. South End is happening.
South End's my favorite neighborhood in Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean,
like if you're like as far as like things to do, places to go out in the city of Charlotte.
For sure.
I
mean, I would.
No, that's cool. I mean, you got there's lots of cool neighborhoods.
There are lots of cool neighborhoods. You know, plazas.
Yeah, Plaza Midwood, yeah.
And right now, Plaza's sort of under construction, but still, Plaza's Plaza. Plaza Midwood's great. Noda's cool. Camp North End is you know, that's.
Would you consider that a neighborhood?
I consider it an area.
A destination.
Yeah, it's sort of an area, and well, you know, because Heist has a brewery over there now, and so like even though it's not technically on the property of Camp North End, I don't think it's right in that area, and
right.
It's fun and it's a nice place to go hang out.
It's like the old industrial area. When I first moved to Charlotte, I actually worked at an HVAC supply house that was off of Graham Street.
Right.
That was in that area.
Right.
And that was all that was out there. And it's like I would drive. I remember going back home. I would drive from there down Graham Street through the city, through Uptown.
Right.
And I was living in South Charlotte, so I would make that drive coming right through there, and there was nothing on that.
Just a long way, but the scenic route, I guess.
The scenic route, yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, Charlotte's growing, and different neighborhoods are growing at different rates. You go out west, sort of right over by Pinky's and Wesley Heights and all that area. It's cool. It's coming up. Lots of restaurants and breweries and bars and so forth. So, you know, the city's growing, and to each his own as far as where you want to be, but there's no shortage of places to go to try out and see what you like.
Right. That's one of the things I love about the city and about the fact that it's growing the way it is. When I first moved to Charlotte back in 2006, I think it was, there just wasn't a lot, especially like coming uptown.
Right.
There's a few bars in South End. Noda was already there, and that was kind of up and coming as the art district. But just over the years, there's been, you get more and more pockets in different areas where each community kind of has its own personality.
Right.
And you have lots of cool places to check out, like where we are today, Craft.
Craft is cool. I like Craft. I've had some good times here personally, so you know, I vouch for it as far as it got. Said 36 taps.
Yeah.
I think he said 33 are beers and 3 were for cocktails. It's attached to Lincoln Street. I believe it's the same owners. Lincoln Street's a little more upscale, but you know, they've got good food as well, and they've got some rooftop seating, so it's fun. Weather's nice. So yeah, it's a good place to be.
Cool. Well, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers a little bit. So this past week was a big week. Obviously, we talked about in last week's show. They fired Matt Rule. So that happened an hour maybe before we recorded last week's show.
Right.
And Steve Wilkes got promoted as the interim head coach. David Tepper said he might have a shot at the permanent job if he performs exceptionally well, which I don't know what that means exactly. Let's talk about David Tepper's press conference.
Oh man, he didn't make a lot of friends.
He did not make a lot of friends
in that press conference. He was in a tough position. It's his team.
Is it his team or is it the Charlotte's team?
Well, of course, it's Charlotte's team, but he owns it, and for however you view ownership and and so forth, it's Tepper's team. He made the decision to hire Matt Rule. He has to own that, and he has to deal with the fallout from it not working. So he was in a position nobody wants to be in. Last week, saying he let the coach go and team's not doing well, and what are we going to do to make it through the season? But he also didn't endear himself to very many Charlotteans.
That was fans. And that's what it's one thing if you struggle to put a winning product on the field. I understand that. I can get that. And as a fan, I'm frustrated about that. But when you come out and basically he acts like he came like we were Mayberry.
Right.
He came here before Charlotte. There wasn't music. There was, and not just that. The whole thing with Rock Hill, with was supposed to be the training facility and practice facility, and then the whole deal with we're on the east side of Charlotte as well, where they're supposed to have a soccer facility. Yeah,
soccer facility.
Yeah, the training facility.
Training facility.
At the
old Eastland Mall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and look, I don't know. Maybe it's that he spread himself thin, sort of with these endeavors. You're a billionaire. I guess you can do that. He has the money to make things happen, and then there's some political aspects to it as well. I don't need to get into all that, but he hasn't made a lot of fans with his choices so far.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say he's losing fans of the Panthers right now. So I don't know what the bottom line is for him, but right now it just doesn't feel great to be a Charlotte Panthers fan.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I feel like a lot of it is there's a lot of apathy.
Yeah.
And part of it goes into whether this is a factor or not. Obviously, the way the team has played. We've had a really strange stretch of 4:00 games with the Carolina Panthers.
I never remember a stretch like that.
Yeah, 3 games in a row because we played 2 East Coast teams here. We played the Cardinals. We played the NFC West 3 games in a row.
Right.
And the first 2 games, we basically instead of having that East Coast advantage, we were playing at 1, so they were playing 10 a.m. their time.
Right.
We pushed the time back, so they got to play at their normally scheduled time. They got to feel more comfortable. The Niners and the Cardinals. So with having those later games, Panther fans are used to watching the team play at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Got a lot of time to drink away your sorrows
before the game even starts.
Before the game even starts, and so then when they're not performing well, you're probably a little quicker to turn it off.
Right. Yeah.
And there are other games.
Find another game or find the Red Zone channel.
Yesterday the Bills and the Chiefs were playing, and that best game of the season. Or one of the most anticipated games of the season.
Yeah, because the way the playoff game,
coming
the
off
AFC Championship last year.
Exactly. Those are 2 contenders, 2 great quarterbacks right now, 2 good coaches, everything you want to see in a game, 2 good teams, and so and we don't have that same allure, not even to Panthers fans.
Yeah, I mean, when I tune in, I enjoy watching Christian McCaffrey play because he's always electric. He always does something. Defensively, I'm always waiting for Brian Burns to make a big play, and Frankie Luvu when he was healthy. So we have a bunch of key defensive players that are out.
Dante Jackson had a pick 6.
He had a pick 6. That was exciting.
With J.C. Horns healthy, he's a player.
Jeremy Chin, he's on IR. He's a great player.
Chin's a wonderful player.
Xavier Woods is out, I think.
Oh, Xavier Woods.
I believe he was out this week.
As well. And so, I don't know. Like we say every week, defense, they try to do the best they can with what they have to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Personnel-wise, I think the defense is okay. We don't have the linebackers that we're used to having, but other than that, it's a solid defense, especially for today's NFL, where linebackers are a little bit smaller, It's a little bit more positionless once you get past the guys up front who hold down the line.
Right.
So, defense isn't a problem. And I tell you what, who else isn't a problem? That's Robbie Anderson. Yeah.
Who is or is not a problem?
He's not the problem.
He's not the problem.
Not the problem.
Okay.
And I haven't read everybody's opinions. I know Joe Person wrote an article and said it's time for Robbie to go. And people say he's a rule holdover and this and that. His job is to catch the ball. And he hadn't had anybody really who can throw him the ball since Sam Darnold at the beginning of last season.
Right.
And so, what do you want him to do? Of course he's pissed off. DJ Moore had, what did he say?
He had 3 catches for 7 yards.
For 7 yards. 3 catches for 7 yards for DJ Moore, who's had 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league.
Right, yeah.
At some point, we can't get the ball. And I'll say this, I'm a fan of short passes and getting the ball into the players' hands more quickly. I think that's what we need to do. But you also have to take shots down the field.
You got to stretch it vertically.
You got to go vertical once you set them up with the throws near the line of scrimmage. Use McCaffrey as much as we can use him, but at some point you got to go down the field. And Robbie Anderson isn't the problem. I don't know what the confrontation and altercation was between him and Coach Daly was, but Robbie's not the problem.
I think that's frustration.
Yeah, of course.
That's frustration blowing over.
Of course. I mean, we had 110 yards passing, no touchdowns, 13 to 21. PJ Walker was. Eason came in. He looks like he might be able to play if he's given a little bit of time.
He's got a big arm.
Strong arm.
He benefited from, he threw a screen pass to McCaffrey that went for like 49 yards.
Right. And I think he has the kind of talent that if you throw a couple of those, like Matt Stafford throws screens all game.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it's the chance to push the ball down the field, you can find Allen Robinson a little bit. Or when they had OBJ, he pushed it to OBJ, Cooper Kupp, of course. So, and I just think you got to figure out what we're going to do with quarterback.
Right.
And if PJ Walker's out, maybe we get a look at Eason and see what he can do.
Yeah, I think getting a look at Easton's a good thing. I think we're going to see him. I think we're going to see Darnold this year.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see Mayfield again this year.
Man, carousel. Wow, that's a carousel.
So there was some great quarterback play on Saturday. Yeah. If you didn't see it, this past Saturday, the Tennessee-Alabama game.
Man.
That was the game. That was the game of the year.
That probably was the game of the year.
Even more so than probably Carolina App State, just because 2 higher ranked teams.
Yeah, 2 better teams. So and we still, and probably, and I would throw Georgia up there. Obviously, one of the better teams, but these 2 quarterbacks are probably.
Hendon Hooker, man, I like him a lot.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker's good, and he's from North Carolina.
Yep. From
Greensboro, played at Dudley. I think they won a state championship. Went to Virginia Tech. Couldn't quite get right for whatever reason, and found his way to Tennessee. And it seems like it's the right person in the right situation now. So, yeah, it was fun to watch.
It was. That game was a blast.
It was epic. It was epic. I don't know.
49-42.
Never see Alabama give up that. They said they hadn't given up that many points since 1907.
Are you serious? That I did not see.
Right. So. I was saying that. I was talking to my son.
It's 115 years.
Yeah, I'm like, look, I haven't seen Alabama ever. In my life, I hadn't seen Alabama ever give up this many points. This is what I said to my son. And then they showed the graphic, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That feels about right.
Yeah, you're not 115 years old.
I'm not 115 years old, but, I've been around a little while, and I hadn't seen Alabama's defense get eviscerated like that.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and Hendon Hooker's a good player. Bryce Young's a good player too.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks too, they've got another really good quarterback in the state though, and Drake May.
Yeah.
Playing for UNC. I mean, he's in his first year as a starter. Yeah. Backed up Sam Powell for 1 year or 2 years?
One, I thought.
I think redshirted, and he backed him up for his first year eligibility.
Right.
And he has to play 1 more year. Or
he has to play.
He might not have even redshirted. I know he's got to play.
I thought it was true, but.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah, because I think he was a true freshman backing up last year.
Right.
True sophomore this year, and then next year you have to play 1 more year because in football you have to be 3 years removed from high school.
Yeah, we're all salivating. We all want to get hands on Drake May.
I saw him play at Myers Park a few years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was watching.
Right.
They had a good receiver who I think ended up going to Virginia Tech or somewhere like that. Who I can't remember his name, but that guy stood out. And I was like, yeah, it's a nice quarterback. Getting the ball to him, but I was noticing noticing him. And Drake Wise kids were on that team, and Musa Muhammad's son was on that team. So, and I just knew Drake May was Luke May's little brother, you know,
Right. It's a
North
small
Carolina
world.
basketball legend.
Well, yeah, and Luke, man, I'm a fan of Luke. And Drake, he's a freshman this year, so I think he's true. We'll have to figure out for sure.
But Drake, he's definitely in Carolina last year. He was backing up Sam Howell last year.
So that's very true. Yeah. And I went.
But he's looking like one of the better quarterbacks in the country.
He is, and obviously another year, season, another 2 years possibly, and he'll be maybe not the same height as Trevor Lawrence, but he'll be up there. He'll be a potential first overall pick if he plays a couple more. Oh yeah, of course, he plays a couple more years like he's playing right now. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I saw they jumped up in the rankings. They're ranked number 22 now, and the defense is terrible, but the offense,
right?
You got an offense like that.
Yeah,
it's been UNC's calling card for the past several years.
It has been their calling card, and he's taking full advantage of the opportunity. He kind of has the personality for it. It seems like the team likes him. They rally behind him. They kind of want to play with him. Guys know they're going to get to touch the ball, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Just look at the Panthers. Those frustrations are easier to alleviate when you're actually getting to make plays and score touchdowns. Even if defense is giving up points, you always feel like you have a chance.
Yeah.
You've got a good quarterback.
Speaking of rankings in North Carolina, I just saw that their basketball team is preseason #1. This is a team that made it to the NCAA championship, Final Four championship game last year.
Right.
And they're returning 4 out of 5 starters this year. So they're looking strong again this year.
Yeah, Hubert Davis has done an excellent job out of the gate, and I'm a Carolina fan, so I love to see it. Love Roy Williams. Big fan of Dean Smith.
Guthrie. I don't hear you say Matt Doherty.
Yeah, Guthrie and Doherty. Guthrie and Doherty in between. I like the program, so I'm always going to support whoever the coach is. But obviously,
they're transition guys.
Yeah,
with Davis, there was a plan. There was a succession plan.
There was a succession plan.
Just like with Duke with John Shire, I think that was a succession plan.
Right, and Hubert's done a good job. Coach Davis has done a good job of maintaining the culture and maybe reinvigorating the culture a little bit, because fans were taking issue with some of Roy's recruiting practices, and they were watching guys go to Duke and Kentucky, higher ranked players coming out of high school going to Duke and Kentucky and other schools, one and done players, and that wasn't what Roy was about. And Roy's a heck of a coach, but just sometimes you hear fans have a little bit of frustration about not getting some of the better players. Felt like maybe we should be in contention for some of those players, but Roy consistently found a way to win, and when he won a couple championships, he got to the Final Four, and Hubert's carrying on the legacy. So it's fun to see. We'll see returning 4 out of 5 starters, but college basketball is so hard to predict.
Yeah,
you don't know how a team's going to fare until they really
preseason #1 doesn't really
it doesn't mean much.
All expectations, but I did hear from the ACC media day they had here in Charlotte last week, and Hubert Davis was being interviewed, and they were asking him about preparing players for the NBA, and is that something preparing their players to play in the pros? I guess whether it's NBA or overseas in Europe, is that something that's on his mind? He said absolutely. Like, you come to Carolina, then I'm coaching you to be prepared to go to the league. So
I mean, he went to the league.
Yeah. And he had a great experience at UNC.
Great experience.
And then he's a Virginia guy.
4-year guy.
Virginia Beach, right?
Really? Yeah. I'm
pretty sure he's from Virginia Beach.
I'm not sure.
I might have to look that one up. But
sounds right.
Correctly, yeah.
Right. And I mean, and Hubert was on some really good teams, played for Dean Smith, and went on to play for the Knicks, a couple other teams, I think. And so he knows what it's all about. And that's what you have to sell to the young guys coming in. They want to be on TV, which they are in college, obviously. They're all over social media, but they want to be in the NBA. And they want to see college as an opportunity to get there, whatever university they choose. And so you know, for a few years there, it kind of felt like maybe if you wanted to go to the NBA and high in the draft, maybe Carolina wasn't a place to go, but
Right.
maybe Hubert can turn that around.
Yeah. Let's pivot a little bit off of sports. Even though I'll just mention real quick, Charlotte Hornets basketball season is about to start this week, but
Don't have much to
don't
add.
have much to add yet. We'll see. We can talk about the
No,
first two games
no
next week.
LaMelo. No LaMelo this week. I think that's all I know.
Put an asterisk by any of the games that they
Oh
lose
man.
over.
Oh man. Yeah.
So yeah, you're telling me about some of the things you did this past weekend, and said you had to check out Anastasia.
Yeah. Yeah. So Anastasia stage play off-Broadway show came to Ovens Auditorium last week, and
Now, was that the musical that
It's a musical.
they did Disney did years ago, right?
Disney did
I remember that cartoon.
20 years ago, yeah, or more.
Probably more than that.
25 years ago, I think. I think it was late 90s. Disney did, and Broadway musical, and now it's touring. And we went to see it here in Charlotte at Ovens Auditorium on Saturday. I took my 7-year-old. He's a big fan of big fan of acting and dancing and singing, the whole performing arts. That's his interest. So we took him check out Anastasia, and I wasn't disappointed at all. It was a great show.
Yeah.
Great stage play. The plot is basically a Russian royal sort of there's an attack on her family, and I don't want to give away too much of the plot, but anyway, she sort of gets lost and forgets who she is, and the play is basically about her remembering who she is and what family she's a part of. She's a Romanov, Anastasia Romanov, and she's sort of on a mission to find out who she is with the help of some of the other characters, and takes place in Russia, Paris,
Okay.
right around the turn of the 20th century. So
A lot of good music in there.
yeah, lots of great musical pieces, great costumes.
Mhm.
Remember the settings, the plays where they used to like wheel the backdrops off to the side,
Right, yeah.
when they wanted to change the scenery.
There's nothing like that was like high school plays.
Well, and I mean, even in big plays, big professional plays, they would sort of change the scenery manually.
Right.
I think now it's sort of digital. They use digital. I don't know if you've seen any plays recently or not, but the backdrops are digital. And they're sort of imposed on a screen. Anyway,
I think Hamilton was the last play that I went to.
Really?
That was up in Durham a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was really good. I was pleasantly surprised. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. My wife and my son enjoyed it. So it was a good time. I would recommend it. I think it's leaving and going to Indiana, and some other stops around the country, and then coming back to maybe Wilmington, North Carolina. And I think it's at Pembroke.
Okay.
So got a chance to catch it in North Carolina.
Worth seeing.
If you want. Yeah, it's worth seeing. Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing.
Now, in Charlotte, from the time I've been here, we were talking earlier, I've been here since 2006 is when I first moved to Charlotte, and just the city has grown so much, and culturally too, like arts, music. So again, David Tepper, we have had music here for a while, but even in the past 15, 20 years, as more and more people move to the area from other parts of the country, and as the city just continues to grow and get bigger, it seems like we get more and more performing arts, more plays. We've always had like the off-Broadway, and Ovens Auditorium has always been a great venue for that.
Yeah. I think Charlotte is. I feel like it's becoming a destination. In terms of it's not the biggest art scene per se,
Right.
in terms of just
There's enough of a population here, though, that and people want to see it.
And it can support.
Come here,
yeah, it can support any sort of tour that you have.
Right.
I think is the bottom line, and it's on the map. For all different reasons. Charlotte's sort of an up and coming city. North Carolina was ranked the best state for business. I think that was that's the latest tidbit everybody's throwing around. So by whatever metrics, North Carolina is a good state to live in as far as business is concerned. And so, yeah, I mean, Charlotte's the biggest city, big population, and a lot of people want to be here. And so it can support tours, whether it's sports or comedy or music, stage play. Charlotte's a good place to come to show off your talent.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many people who are moving here from different areas, and for some people, I think sometimes there's a little bit of a culture shock when they come here. Maybe if they're used to a faster pace of living,
Yeah.
especially if you get out into the suburbs.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of stuff going on. So
yeah, for sure.
It might not be right out your back door unless you live like right in the city. But yeah. So speaking of things to do, it's festival season right now. There's festivals.
Weather's great.
Weather's great. October, always a good time for outdoor activities in the Charlotte area. And I'm pretty excited this coming weekend. I'm going to be participating in the Sunny Days Market. So Sunny Days Market, they have a brick and mortar shop in Indian Trail. They support local businesses and help them sell their stuff and get the word out. But they go around to all these small towns, kind of around the perimeter of Charlotte. So Waxhaw, Monroe, Belmont, Concord, Salisbury, Pineville. So they go to all these different places and they have these pop-up shops. They get 30, 35 vendors to come and set up. They got food trucks, usually drinks and things like that.
That's great.
So I'm excited this week. I'll be at the Waxhaw pop-up. Got some CLT Life gear. So I'm slinging some t-shirts, short and long sleeve. I have some hoodies there as well. Even have some CLT Life logo in pink, like in the fuchsia pink.
Nice.
So we sell the breast cancer awareness and donating money. Be donating a portion of the proceeds from each sale to Carolina Breast Friends. That's ongoing, the philanthropy that we're supporting this month. And then the following weekend I'll be at Middle James Brewery for that. You might come out and you got some of you got your own brand. You got your Good Days gear.
Got the Good Days gear popping off. And got some tees and sweats. May even have some physical copies of CDs. By then. Yeah. Working on this album release. Haven't quite set a date because albums are different these days. The music business is different these days. So still working on the strategy for how to release, but yeah, have some items, merchandise to share with people. So I look forward to it. Hopefully I can make it out.
Yeah, come on out. You out there listening, if you're in the Charlotte area, come on out and check out some of these. You gotta get out and support local businesses. So that's what it's all about. That's how you really get to know a community. Anywhere you go, you got your big box stores, no matter where you are in the country, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's a store or something like that, where you're shopping at chains. You got those everywhere. But what really gives anywhere character is local businesses. So it's like this place here today, Craft. So I mean, they've got 36 different beers or 33 beers on tap, and they're all, as far as I can tell, it looks like they're all local.
Yeah, or at least
regional, maybe, right?
Pretty regional. I think I saw Holy City down in Charleston.
Yeah, that's the Carolinas.
Yeah, Carolina. So it's a great neighborhood bar, I would say. It's kind of it's a bottle shop and tap room, growler shop or whatnot, but it's pretty much a neighborhood
light
bar.
As well.
Yeah, light food.
Yep.
But it's like a neighborhood bar, and so it's a good place to come hang out, and it definitely gives this area South End some character.
Yeah, we've been sitting here for about the past 45 minutes or so. I think when we got here, we're the first ones in, and I've seen probably about a dozen people in here right now on a 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. Right. It's not 7:30 on Friday.
Right.
So, well, hey everybody, we appreciate you listening to us, watching us, however you're consuming this content. Thanks again for supporting us. We're on WDRB Media, Voice of the Community. You can find us on iHeartRadio and wherever whatever radio streaming device. You can also find us on YouTube and coming to a podcast
near you
soon as well. Working on that. So we just want to get the word out about what a great place Charlotte is. If you live in the Charlotte area, we want you to get out and explore it, support local businesses. If you don't live in Charlotte and you're thinking about checking it out, we want to kind of give you a window into some of what's going on. Yeah, in the Charlotte community.
Great place to be.
Great place to be. Yeah, if you think about moving here, I happen to help people buy and sell houses too. Yeah, little self promo right there.
Right. That's your day job.
That is my day job. Yeah, so you can reach out to me as well. 704-313-8514. Call me up and you hear the guy on the radio station.
Right.
So, you got anything else to add?
No, man, I'm good. Have a good week, good weekend.
Yep.
See you next time.
We'll see you next time. All right, be good. Take care.